Hey, welcome to Sailing Vessel MIG. This is my friend Alfie. He is our African gray parrot. He talks a lot. He'd be great on a boat. He's like a pirate parrot. Anyway, I thought I'd let you guys know what's going on here. I am staying home until April. I changed my tickets without any penalty. And so I'm able to make a little money hanging out here for a few months, and while the boat waits for hurricane season to be over. And yeah, that's the plan. So enjoy this video. It's of our friends on One Life, Gary and Brooke, when they stopped in at Savu Savu. We saw them there and we ran down the dock, and it was like a couple of, oh look at, he's hiding his head. He totally knows when people are watching him, and he knows what a camera is. Are you gonna talk? You gonna say anything? He talks like crazy, and he whistles and beeps and clucks, but not when the camera's going. He knows, and he's just ornery about that. This is our other little girl here. This is Sammy. Sammy loves me. So anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I did also add a tier to Patreon for those of you who are interested. My friend from high school, Derek, was a little put out that he could only support my journey by $25 a month. So he asked me to make another tier, and so I did, and it's called Commodores, and it's $100 a month. If you choose to do that, please make sure that you go directly to the Patreon page and don't use the Apple app. The app charges like a ridiculous 30% extra per month just to use their app. That you get nothing for it except using the app instead of going onto the website. So those of you who've already signed up, it isn't affected. If you've already had past admiral or deckhand or crew privileges, it's new. It's a new thing. They're charging extra 30%. So yeah, just go to the website instead of going through the app. Anyway, he asked me to make that, and then I said, well, I'll just do maybe 1 or 2 positions for that. And he said, well, how many do you really need? And I said, well, if I had 10, that'd be $1,000 a month. Then my family doesn't have to support me on the journey hardly at all anymore. It would free up my family. Believe it or not, that's about what we spend. I've already got my Starlink is covered through the admirals basically, and deckhand and crew, which I want to thank you all so much for your support and help in making this journey happen. So enjoy the video of One Life today. So we are here at the Naui Marina, and the other day we were just walking down the dock and we were like, hey, does that boat say One Life on it? And it did. And Norman and I, we watch Brooke and Gary all the time on One Life, and so we were really excited. We're like, hey, we're like a couple of paparazzi running down the dock, yelling their names. They didn't know who we are, of course, and they're like, who are these people? And so since then, they've been here a few days. They're getting ready to head off to the islands, and so I'm going to show you their boat.
What's up?
Okay, now it's going. Here is One Life. And if you don't already know them, which as few subscribers as I have, I'm sure most, if not all of you, already know Gary and Brooke on One Life.
Hi. Welcome to our boat.
They're going to show us One Life. What kind of boat is it?
It's built by Nautical Development in Florida in the 80s. So they only built 14 of these, so it's not a very well-known brand.
And it's a center cockpit.
It's a center cockpit, 40 foot.
Wow. It seems so big on the deck.
It is quite big.
Maybe that's just because I've been on MIG. Oh, and you got a
self-tending
tacking.
staysail.
Oh, that's so nice, isn't it?
It's really nice when the weather gets nasty to just be able to roll that out and not worry about it.
Yeah. So do you use your staysail pretty much all the time when you go out?
If the wind's over 20 knots, it's usually the staysail that comes out.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's probably our favorite sail.
Did you guys do the deck?
No. It was
Wow, it's so
It was
nice.
Kiwi gripped before we bought it. It's held up really well.
Yeah, it
I
looks
think
like
it's
you
probably
just
like
did it.
10 years old now, actually.
Wow, that's amazing.
The only spot it's getting worn down is right there where we come in.
Yeah, where you get in. Oh, it looks like your Dodger looks new.
That is new.
Like new in New Zealand? Or?
We built it in Mexico.
Oh, okay. So it's new before the...
We had a friend that does marine canvas come out to Mexico and spend
Wow.
a week with us in the boatyard there, and we stitched it using Delis's sailrite machine
Oh, really?
under the boat in the dusty boatyard in a
So
week.
do you have covers for that? For
Yeah,
like
maybe
when
cover
you're
for the front of it, yeah.
So when you're at the marina or anchored out for a while.
Keeps it
you-
a lot cooler in there too. Black
Yeah.
and white.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that
full
full
enclosure is so nice.
enclosure. Anything else up here to show us?
No.
Look at the size of their anchor. What'd you say, 60 pounds?
It's a 65-pound mantis.
65-pound mantis.
Held us through everything. What else? Whisker pole mounted on the mast.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We got that in Mexico too before we did the crossing because we knew we'd be downwind a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's carbon too, huh?
It's so the
inner sleeve?
extendable part there is carbon fiber, which saves the weight out at the telescoped end where the weight really matters.
Nice. And then their mainsail is cool. It's a in boom furling mainsail. You like that?
It's good for some things. It's tough for others. We have to winch it all the way up and winch it all the way down, so it's a little difficult for that. But you can reef it to any point you want.
Oh, because it's in this.
It's in the track.
Yeah.
So being able to reef it to like any point you want is awesome, and also like it stores away so easily. We never have to deal with like a cover or a bag or anything like that.
And it has regular horizontal battens, right?
Yeah, we have
Which is
5 or
nice.
6 battens horizontally, so the sail shape's good.
That's the problem when you have the in mast roller furling. You have those vertical battens, which are a
Yep.
pain in the butt.
And the other good thing is like if you're worried about a furler jamming on your mainsail, which is always a concern, with the in boom, if it
Still
jams,
drop it.
you can still just drop it and flake it over the boom
Yeah.
and tie it down.
So now, would you ever change the luff to the slides?
I don't think you can because they have to roll up
Oh, it has to
on
go
the
in
end of the
this.
sail here, right? So like you just have.
Oh,
somebody
right.
but you have
Yeah,
to
I see why now. That makes sense. Because, see, it's got a roll right here. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess it is what it is.
Some of the other systems have different setups. This is a furl boom. I think there's 3 or 4 different manufacturers, and they have slightly different setups, but they all pretty much use the tape.
Yeah. Well, it sure is nice and clean. It's like when it's not up, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have any extra sail flopping around when it's reefed.
It's
That's
really easy
nice.
to reef too.
And then back here you have dinghy davits. And Starlink. That's a good place for it. No,
Davits,
no
outboard
trouble.
Starlink, all the stuff, all the cruising stuff tied to the,
Yeah.
to the stern rail.
Do you sail offshore with this up here?
We did. We crossed the Pacific with it up.
Oh,
and,
wow.
You know, a lot of people are super concerned about that.
Yeah, but it was all right, huh?
For us, we have a pretty like flat transom,
Yeah.
so our stern is really buoyant.
Okay.
So only one time in 5 years of sailing have we ever had water come over the stern from a wave.
Do you run cross?
It's underneath. Yeah,
Oh,
From
okay.
the bow and from the stern.
So you
it's
do
crossed
have some to
underneath,
keep
so
it
can't go
from
this way
sliding
at all,
back
yeah.
and forth. Yeah, we used to, on Wandering Dolphin on our other boat, we used to have ours up on the davits. I mean, unless we were going on a really long offshore passage, and
Yeah.
we wouldn't, but...
So our issue too is the self-tending staysail.
Oh,
Put it on
right.
the foredeck.
Yeah, you can't, because...
So it would kind of be in the way there. It might be able to work and like be in there, but like also like going up there to rig the pole and to do everything else. Like if we had that up there, it's just like
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
think
just
it's-
opens up your deck
I
so
think it's
much.
safer
It's so
and
nice.
it's less risky actually. I think to have it back here.
And so you have all your... You have a life raft outside, too, then?
Just that.
That.
In the bag, yeah.
Oh, it's in there with the... That's how ours is,
In a bag.
yeah.
Throw it overboard.
And you have a full deck box? Was that on the boat when you...
It was installed on the boat, yeah. And in there is our dive compressor, which
Oh,
we pull out.
geez,
So we can
that's
pull that out
awesome.
and set it up on the stern deck here and
Look at that.
compressor. It's really nice to have storage. It kind of looks
Yeah.
ridiculous, but you know what?
I like it. I would...
One thing that the center cockpit lacks is deck storage, right? So we have these
Yeah.
little, tiny little deck lockers.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's like with us. We only have little tiny las.
Because of the aft cabin, right?
Yep.
You have the aft cabin, you lose those like deep lockers.
Yeah. All right, what are these propane over here? On
That's
the
a
sides?
shore power locker, and this is a propane locker.
Okay.
And then we carry spares
Each
too.
side. Oh yeah. And they're dive tanks. Awesome. Okay, cool. And just exactly like MiG. No different at all.
No,
Center cockpit.
we've got cushions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually feel like MiG and the interior of the cockpit feels a bit safer almost because you can't really go anywhere.
You're down lower.
You're down lower. I
Yeah, you
feel
can't
like
go anywhere.
You're just kind of like
fall out.
yeah, especially
You
if
can't even
you're
fall
flying.
across it.
That's right. You go,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is awesome.
So we have this is our CPT autopilot.
Oh, that's like
Secondary.
that one on that boat that we in Bodega Bay. The pink boat that we did.
oh, yeah.
They had that same one.
So we
That's
have
pretty
we
bomb-proof,
have a
huh?
below deck Garmin autopilot with a drive down there.
Oh, okay.
But when we first started sailing, we had like an electric linear drive, and it just kept failing, like repeatedly failing. So when we were in Mexico, we had sailed so much without an autopilot with just the two of us. We were just totally,
Wow,
right? Like, no
really?
wind vane, no autopilot, just the two of us doing
Yeah, that's rough.
5-10 day passages, right?
No,
We were so over it, so we put in the hydraulic drive on the Garmin autopilot, and then we added this as a backup because we were like, we need two completely independent self-steering systems for two-handed sailing.
I've
long
heard that
passages.
these are like bomb-proof.
Yeah, it'll steer us. I mean, we put it on the other day, downwind and 20 knots, and
Yeah, it's a
it
great-
was fine.
Yeah, downwind is when we run our tiller pilot because the wind vane doesn't like
It's
the
harder
downwind.
steering downwind,
Yeah,
right? Like,
it just
it's a lot
doesn't
more.
like it. I mean, it'll do it, but it does this big old.
you got to
Yes.
help it out a lot.
Yeah. This thing will use a lot less power than our hydraulic drive too. So if we just like have light conditions and we want to save power, we'll just put on this one.
Yeah, we'll probably use this one today
Right.
when we leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so nice. Such great visibility.
It's a
Yeah.
pain to do the stitching with such little
Oh yeah.
sections of
right.
umbrella.
Yeah, we won't do that again.
If we were going to do it
Make
again,
a little
we would
bigger
have much
sections of-
smaller windows with bigger sections to make it
Yeah.
easier to maneuver into place and stitch and everything.
Oh, that makes sense.
Trying to run it through the machine, and then the other tricky thing is like these windows and these windows, and you have this like curvature thing trying to run that through the
Oh, right.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you
Those are
sew
rough.
it too, or
Yeah.
you had your?
Yeah. No, we
You used Delos's machine,
That was his
right?
machine, but we had our
Yeah.
friend Alex, who actually owns one of these boats, one of the
Oh.
over 14. He owns one,
He's a marine.
and he does marine
upholstery
canvas.
guy. Yeah.
So he
Okay.
came from.
We flew him in from Mexico. And
Oh,
Yeah.
right on.
he helped us. But yeah, it was.
Cool.
Ask me if I'll do it again.
Will you do it again?
No, absolutely not.
Just have somebody do it, right?
But we
This
probably,
is gonna be on here for as long as possible.
probably saved like 15 grand doing
Oh,
it ourselves.
yeah.
Because to
Jeez.
get all of this done, we got a quote for it, and it was,
It was like
like
12
12
grand.
grand.
Yeah,
or
isn't
something,
that
right?
crazy?
Paid five or something.
Yeah, I think
materials and everything.
to redo just mine on that little boat was $6,000
I
or
can see
something.
why the amount
in
of hours it
Anacortes.
took was
Oh, yeah.
insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a new
You don't-
appreciation for the.
You don't think about it until you start doing it. Because I built my sail pack, I built his.
Oh
And
wow.
it just takes a lot of.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, he was already moved on the boat, and that was the last sewing project I had left. And he and I both sewed a lot on our boats, but you can tell a difference in what I sewed and what he
and
sewed.
what he said, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
got straight lines.
Don't look too quickly because you'll also be able to tell that with ours. Like Brooke did that part. Yeah.
He made you sign it.
It came out pretty good.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm
It's super
really
nice.
proud of it.
And I like the. Do you like that hatch the way it is, the companion one?
It's like a bifold door.
Oh, that's
yeah.
nice.
We just take it off.
And like the other nice thing is it just comes
Oh,
completely
yeah.
off. So like we can just throw this down below.
Yeah. So when you sail offshore, is it mostly just like it is right there, clipped off?
Yeah. Usually just leave it like this. I mean, with the enclosure, we never have to
Yeah.
close it.
Yeah. And you're high up. Look at how high up off the water they are.
Hey, you sure can't touch the water from here.
Yeah.
We just wash our dishes just by going.
Just dip it in the water.
You
Wait
nice.
for it
Yeah.
to roll and dip.
Roll and dip. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah. When the water comes over the sides, we know we need to bring in some
Oh
sail.
man, yeah, man, because you guys have a lot of freeboard.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, cool.
Want to go down in?
Yes, please. And you got Treadmaster on the steps.
Oh yeah. was Treadmaster like on a lot of this boat. Like I think there was Treadmaster under the cushions originally too.
Wow, it's so big. It feels so big to us.
It's a nice wide salon right now.
It really is.
We've got the bunk set up here because we're gonna sail overnight tonight.
Yeah. And this is what you do when you're underway.
Yep. This is where we'll sleep.
And then if you're on this
we have a
tack,
leak cloth that we can run across this, and then this cushion comes out so you can stick your feet under there.
oh yeah, cool.
So when we had Hannah sailing with us from Tonga to New Zealand, she occupied this bunk, and then Brooke and I would swap off this one.
It's awesome.
And then the forward cabin, which is just a garage filled full of dive gear, kiteboarding.
It's so easy to do that too, right? And that's the thing. Like I'm finding that the trouble I have is the biggest area for storage that I have is that sail locker forward, and you fill it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the worst place to have extra weight, but yet.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to put something big?
That's why we have our dive tank strapped to the stern deck.
Yeah,
because
to try and balance
it. If we put everything up there, it's like...
Right. I like the 2 hammocks there for food and stuff. And there's your new water maker,
There's a water maker panel. And the water maker is actually all tucked under the settee.
Oh,
so the membranes are actually tucked up. You can't even see them, but the membranes are up here.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're like 40-inch membranes, and there's 2 of them. So they're this
Wow.
long, and there's 2 of them tucked up under there.
And tell them how much you make.
It makes 40 gallons per hour.
So your biggest trouble is, you said, using all the
Trying
water.
to use enough water, because we end up having to like run the engine or the generator enough anyway just to charge the batteries that we have more water than we could use right now, which is awesome.
So he's offshore washing the decks after it.
After 4 years of using like a couple gallons a day. It's nice. It's a luxury. But yeah.
He used to have, if you watch I think, well, actually for me right now, so it'll be back a little bit, but if you watch the video that they did where he's having water maker problems, the water maker that he was using then was a Catadine Power Survivor 60, right?
160.
160.
So it was like 4 times larger than the 40.
Yeah, so it was the big one of what I have on MIG, and he was having trouble with it. So a lot of the parts fit my little water maker. So the other day yesterday, he came over and gave me a bunch of parts and stuff for mine for when it inevitably needs to be rebuilt, which who knows when that'll be, but I've got some parts now.
Oil and can storage, and now it's occupied by...
That's the high pressure pump?
That's our high pressure pump. These are the pre-filters.
Wow,
this is a carbon filter for freshwater flush. So now this has kind of been built out
repurposed
and
as
can still fit some cans and some oil and stuff in there too.
Wow. So what did you have in here before that this is taken up?
We used it just for canned food storage, and we
okay.
had more oil bottles that have been moved to where the old water maker
Well, that's
was.
a pretty dang good trade-off. Jeez.
We reclaimed space where our old water maker was, which was under here.
Oh, yeah.
So
Which
we were able to,
which is handy space for kitchen stuff, galley stuff.
yeah.
So that was a good
Servicing
trade.
the water maker in there was a nightmare. It was packed into
yeah.
this like tiny little space. The membrane was tucked up in the corner here.
Huh.
So now everything's a little more accessible.
And you have a freezer and a fridge, or 2 fridges?
It's 1 unit
Oh, okay.
with a holding plate,
Oh, yeah. Nice.
and then just a spill over to the fridge.
Now, did you add these?
No, they were there.
Wow, I'd like to get one of those for mine.
They're just mechanical
Yeah, that's
thermostats
great.
with wires that go through.
Awesome. I like the galley along the side under the... This is how the island packets are. Those big island
like
packets. Yeah.
Galley like run 4 and a half.
Yeah,
It's
do you
great.
like
It's
that?
like, yeah, you can't fall anywhere when you're standing there cooking. On either tack,
Yeah.
you can work in the galley.
Yeah.
You've got counter space on either side, so like, you know, if you're heeled this way, you can set stuff here and it doesn't roll off.
You got the Instapot. Yeah, you could get the Instapot with the air fryer
I
lid,
know we need to get that.
and that'll double duty then.
We need to get that attachment.
So does this side go through all the way too?
Yep.
Oh, okay, and it goes to the head for the aft cabin. So this is your nav station.
Yep. Nav station and chart table, which is more like a workbench.
And as typical YouTubers,
Cameras everywhere.
these are real YouTubers. See, I'm doing all of this with my phone, but these guys.
You know what? We started out with a GoPro, and that was it. And over the years, we've just kind of started to collect more and more.
Yeah, I have a few GoPros, but I tend to use my phone a lot.
Yeah, chart plotter, radio, SSB.
Nice. Do you use your SSB?
Before Starlink, we used it a lot.
Yeah.
Since getting Starlink, it's there as a backup system. We just re-rigged, and we decided to replace the insulators and keep the SSB because it's already installed and it works great. And
Yeah, so I've got everything for mine. It's just not hooked up.
Yeah.
Because it used to be hooked up before I did the refit. So I just kept everything, but I haven't hooked it up.
It's nice to have.
So, yeah, I kind of like it, I think, for the entertainment value of it, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever just turn it on to listen?
Yeah, and we've like been able to talk with friends like back in the Caribbean when we were sailing across the Pacific.
Oh,
we had
yeah,
friends.
that's nice.
We had friends that we would hop on the station every night and chat with them. This is one of my favorite things, though, is tool drawers.
Oh, look at that.
Like
That's
nice slide
cool.
tool drawers,
Oh, that's awesome.
which works out great. Is this is like a nice workbench, so like
Yeah, so you pull
Throw
out your
stuff up on there and work
tools.
on it.
Yeah. This is engine room access.
one of the engine room accesses.
Oh, that's your generator.
yeah.
at that.
Lights generator and a sound shield, which is nice and quiet.
Look at that. Wow. Yeah, so when you open it all up all the way around, you can really get
You
access
can get
to
to all three
everything.
sides of it.
And you got a water make or a hot water heater.
Hot water heater, which is plumbed to the engine coolant, so when we
Oh,
motor,
that's nice.
it heats it up.
Yeah.
Our pre-filters
Awesome.
for our water maker used to be in here,
Oh.
and then there was this like big sink to catch the drips from it, so the
Yeah.
salt water wouldn't drip down. And now we've got all this space, and we need to reclaim all of this space somehow. So I want to build like a shelf
Yeah.
because that's a lot of storage.
How difficult is it to do the oil change on this?
It's not bad at all. So this kind of just pops out, and then I've got like the hose.
Oh, okay.
Down
so you can
to the-
pump it.
Yeah, so you can suck it out, and this hose is kind of like permanently installed with a plug in it.
Okay, that's the key, huh?
Because yeah, it would be really hard to get to anything otherwise. It's not bad. Getting to like the starter and the belt on the backside's a little difficult, but
But it does open up on that side too, right?
yeah, every one of these
Yeah,
panels
that's amazing.
opens up.
Awesome. And here's the head for the aft cabin. This is the main head. Oh my God. Wait till Norman sees this. This shower is as big as Norman's cabin.
Full stand-up shower.
Wow, that's super nice.
It's
And
really
now
nice.
that you've got the...
Now that we have a big water maker, we can actually use it.
right?
You know, we used to do the, turn on the water,
Yeah.
turn it off, then soap up, and all that. Now we can just let it run.
Now, do you ever, with this bed up high, do you ever use it offshore? Or
We
Probably-
pretty much never sleep back here offshore.
yeah, so
It's
you just use it kind of as
it's
storage.
very pitchy back here.
Yeah,
And like there's nothing to keep you from rolling out.
right. So when you have a crew person, you still all just take turns in the salon area?
In the salon, between the double berth there that we've built,
Yeah.
that we've filled in, and then a lee cloth on the port side. It's enough.
But boy, it's nice when you're...
But on anchor, it's nice, and like I think those port lights at the back are one of our favorite things.
Yeah,
because you
that's
wake
so
up and you
cool.
can look out, and
See if another boat's dragging down. Or see if you're dragging down on
see if your
another
dinghy's
boat.
still tied up behind you. Like it should
Right.
be.
Very
And then
cool.
yeah, it walks all the way through and back up to their galley, which is it's a one-head boat, which is I think
That's
probably rare
awesome.
for 40-foot boats.
Yeah.
It's common to have two when you have two cabins like this.
Yeah, we
but-
raised 5 kids on our 47-foot boat with one head.
I prefer one head, like
And that one head was more than I wanted to work on. I'm telling you.
yeah,
Especially with kids, because they were always flushing Legos.
all sorts of stuff.
Well, thank you very much for showing us
Yeah.
your boat and
Cheers.
for letting us film you, and have a safe trip over. They're heading over to Bay
Loud
Islands,
Group.
right?
Yeah,
To the Loud
head over
Group.
to the Loud Group.
We were going to go with them today, but oh well.
We'll
We
catch you
can't.
somewhere.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Gary.
All right, bye.
Together